The New York Knicks were able to come back from a 22-point fourth quarter deficit to force overtime and later dominate the extra period to take game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. This was a tale of three different games all rolled into one. The first quarter and a half was dominated by the Knicks, who took an early 11-point lead, but this is when Donovan Mitchell got hot towards the end of the first half as the Cavs closed the second quarter on a 21-8 run. And by doing so, they took a 2-point lead heading into the break. From that point on, this was all Cavaliers as Donovan Mitchell continued to cook in the third quarter, thwarting any sort of Knicks counter attempt to get back into the game, as Cleveland was able to stretch the lead as high as 22 points with just under 8 minutes left in the game. This was when the Knicks offense finally woke up. The Brunson burner was lit aflame, and the Knicks got timely support from guys like Landry Shamet, Karl Anthony Towns, and then later Mikal Bridges. And this all eventually led to the game being tied up at 99 after Landry Shamet got a couple lucky bounces on his corner three to bounce in. On the Cavs' final possession of regulation, they did a great job of scheming Sam Merrill wide open at the top of the key as he got a great look to win the game. Now, his three-point attempt did nearly go in, and this caused Mike Breen to nearly call his patented bang, but since it rattled out, he cut it off. And thus, we were going into overtime tied up at 101. In the extra period, the Knicks dominated as the Cavs continued to sputter offensively as New York was able to close out game one on a 44-11 run. So main takeaways from game one of the Eastern Conference Finals: the New York Knicks offense can catch fire at any given moment. We've seen this in a couple instances against the Atlanta Hawks, especially that avalanche to start off that closeout game in game 6 of the first round series against Atlanta, and a couple times against the Philadelphia 76ers in game 1 and later in game 4 to sweep them out of the playoffs. And this is an offense that is capable of just going on these crazy heaters where they simply cannot miss. Now, we didn't see this until basically the end of the fourth quarter in game 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Before, in the first couple of rounds, we saw them go through Karl Anthony Towns as this innovative point center type of role. But in this comeback effort, they went back to the old Knicks that was more Brunson-centric, and they rode Brunson until the wheels fell off, leading them to this massive comeback win. And now, coming into this game, I was certainly concerned because they were on a 9-day layoff at this point since they haven't played in so long, and despite that, they did come out pretty strong. And I'm not sure what really happened in the middle part of that game where the Cavs seized control, but in that fourth quarter, it was really all Jalen Brunson carrying the Knicks offense until other guys were able to make some contributions. But the real big adjustment that you got was that you got James Harden into that top of the key ISO action, and then that was just something that Jalen Brunson attacked again and again, where it was hitting James with some type of crossover move to set up a mid-range jump shot or a close jump shot within the paint or even get some layoffs. And this was an adjustment that I felt that Kenny Atkinson somehow missed. And now, speaking of James Harden, at least, it's been yet another year where we've seen Harden produce poorly in the playoffs, where we've seen him play really well in the regular season, and while it hasn't been like his Houston Rockets tenure over the last few years, he's still been a fairly productive player. But time in and time out in the postseason, James Harden falls off a cliff. I know that Harden has been a terrible defender, but Kenny Atkinson, for whatever reason, decided to continue to leave James Harden on an island guarding who continued to attack him in the final phase of the game, leading to easy looks at the basket and thus jump-starting the Knicks' stagnant offense to the point where they were able to rally from 22 points down. And for whatever reason, there were other instances of the lack of rotations in this as well, where, James Harden just kind of fell asleep on defense, where he was switched off and he had to pick up Mikal Bridges, and we lost in the corner and gave up a wide open corner three to eventually tie up the game. While his lack of defense has been something we've seen throughout his entire career, the other thing that you can bank on is, like I said earlier, is just that his offensive production takes a dip in the playoffs. And this latest performance, going 5 of 16 from the field, and that includes 1 of 8 from beyond the arc, yields just 15 points to go along with 6 turnovers. Now, I did some research online and I found some interesting stats of James Harden, particularly in the playoffs. Now, specifically in this postseason run in 2026, this is now the ninth time that James Harden has shot at least 40% or lower from the field during this postseason run. It's no secret that James Harden shrivels in the postseason, but in my research, I found that Harden actually has the most amount of playoff games shooting below 35% or under since it was tracked in 1955. To couple that, now this is more than a quarter of his playoff career where he has had as many turnovers or more turnovers than field goals made in a single game. So just imagine that, James Harden, he's put up some gaudy numbers in the regular season. We've seen 60-point triple doubles with his days with the Houston Rockets, and there's at times where he shifts into this more point guard type of role. But for whatever reason, the looks are just not efficient. He settles for way too many step back jump shots or misses shots from point blank range. And then you also have the other times where he's just giving up the ball possession after possession, to the point where if you're known for your offense and we know that you're a non-factor on defense, then what is the point of even leaving you on the court at this point? So the Cavs will have to figure out the hard way that they will be the latest team that ends up getting scammed by James Harden. Now, to briefly talk about Donovan Mitchell, he was great for 3 quarters. He was super hot. He was building off of his great performance against the Pistons in Game 7, but he went radio silent in the 4th quarter. And I know that he did roll his ankle earlier in the 4th, but for whatever reason, when the Cavs offense needed some type of boost, he was nowhere to be found. He took just 6 shots in the 4th quarter in overtime, and I think he only had 3 points over those 2 periods. You have to find some way to be assertive than that. Either tell James Harden to get the hell out of the way and take over the game, or at least find ways to get to the line, because there were so many instances that the Cavs just needed something, and Donovan Mitchell just let James Harden dribble the air out of the basketball. Now, to analyze the magnitude of this loss for the Cavaliers, you come in off of a grueling 7-game series, actually back-to-back 7-game series. So you have 14 games under your playoff belt for this postseason campaign. I would honestly say that would be an acceptable loss if they got blown out within the first half or late in the 3rd quarter, where they're maybe playing the Knicks pretty tightly and then the Knicks just hit a second gear because they've been fresh. But no, they actually seized control of this game, and I don't know if they ran out of gas or what happened, but that's the big thing about this, is just the missed off. You come in, you had 1 day of full rest, and it's really hard to make that turnaround from Detroit to New York and rest, recover, to getting ready for the Eastern Conference Finals on very short notice. And, there's really some opportunities here where the Cavs missed to seize control and stop the bleeding. Firstly, as they build that 22-point lead, I feel that Kenny Atkinson should have taken a timeout once that lead got cut to 15 points. You stop the momentum right then and there. You probably give him a hard pep talk. You make some adjustments with the coaching scheme and the defensive game plan, and then you roll back with the punches, and hopefully you're able to salt this win away. But Kenny Atkinson doesn't take a timeout until it's either a 13 or 12-point ball game at that point. Additionally, you just see that, there were some opportunities that the Cavs had to extend this lead. You had Jared Allen, who is not the best free throw shooter, but he missed a point-blank layup and also got fouled in the process, and he came up empty with missing 2 free throws. And you have James Harden, who missed 2 free throws in the 4th quarter. So you're leaving about 4 points on the board, and at this point the Knicks have all the momentum. Right after Jared Allen misses those 2 free throws, the Knicks make a jump shot to cut this lead to 10, and then it's game on at that point. You have about 5 minutes left in the game. A 10-point deficit was basically erased within an additional 3 more minutes, and just like that, eventually that lead is nothing at that point. And there was obviously those times where I think Kenny Atkinson should have had the balls to bench James Harden. At that point, James Harden was being a cone defensively. He wasn't providing you anything offensively. At least you know that a guy like Dennis Schroeder, for example, he would play Jalen Brunson pretty tough. I think he would do a pretty good job on Jalen Brunson, and then you just lean on Donovan Mitchell to get you through to the finish line. But there were just so many things there where, once the Knicks offense began to roll, the Cavs just couldn't get anything to work, and they had no answers. And the concerning part about this is, like I said, it's just a missed opportunity. Now, the Cavs have shown a ton of poise in this postseason run. They've come back from 0-2. They have won a Game 7 on the road. But my fear for the Cavaliers even heading into this series is just the fact that they've had so much tread on their tires to the point where the gas in the tank is eventually going to run out. And it's very possible that, losing momentum like this, there's a carryover effect, and the Knicks are able to actually blow the doors off the Cavaliers yet again, and this could be a relatively short series due to simply just this war of attrition. And I feel like the magnitude of blowing a 22-point lead in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals just might be something that's too much for the Cavaliers to overcome.